We already know about the serious Twitch thoughts, but there isn't a lot of discussion on the semi-respectable e-girls. Plus, Daddy Meme Star doesn't have an army of virgins ready to back him up, so fellas like myself have to step in. All jokes aside, before you white knights start disliking the video because I insulted your princess, try and refute my points. First, I want to differentiate between e-girls and thots. For me, a thot is a worse version of an e-girl. For example, you can compare someone like Pokimane to someone like Pink Sparkles. There's a pretty clear difference between the two, to say the least. However, both employ sexualization. One is overt and intentional, whilst the other is subtler and possibly incidental. What I mean by that is Pink Sparkles clearly flaunts her body for views, whereas it is harder to determine if Poki is doing this deliberately as well or not. For those seeking more clarification, a YouTuber called Aria Rose made a video explaining how to be an e-girl, which I recommend watching before you watch the rest of this video, so we can all be on the same page of what we know an e-girl is. I don't hate Pokimane. Her content isn't my style, but I acknowledge everyone has different tastes. However, there are discernible reasons why people watch her, and I'm not talking about her personality. There isn't anything drastically wrong with the way Poki acts, but since her relatively recent massive spike in popularity, the majority of new fans follow her because of her appearance. This is most likely because the Fortnite demographic is mainly a younger audience consisting of horny teenage boys. Now let me offer you some evidence to support my claims. The greatest indication of her audience is her Twitch chat, and in this case it is whenever she stands up the thick spam. Now she has always said that she doesn't like this, but a lot of people are saying that this is reverse psychology. By trying to hide her so-called thickness, she is in fact drawing attention to it. I personally don't know and don't care because the purpose of this evidence is simply to demonstrate what her chat thinks. Whenever she stands up, they automatically spam thick. If you were to conduct further study, I would guess that the majority of the thick spammers are not subbed. Feel free to test my theory as that takes effort and I am unlikely to do it. Plus, you'd have to sit through her streams, and if it isn't really a cup of tea, yeah, good luck with that. The second piece of evidence I have is the top search results on YouTube. For example, this is me searching up Poki on an incognito browser with the YouTube server set to the US. The top results, the second top result is a thick compilation. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that is risque in nature. The sheer volume of it is indicative of the interest in it, which can provide an insight into her fanbase. 4 or 5 of the 10 results are risque. ASMR could potentially be classified as risque, but I chose not to go with it, because I wasn't entirely sure, because I've never watched any ASMR and I do not intend to. 3 out of 10 are about her appearance, 2 or 3 out of 10 are explicitly about her content, depending on what you classify ASMR under. Finally, 2 out of 10 are about interactions with other popular content creators. These are the most popular things that people search and want from her, and I think the evidence speaks for itself. However, I will defend Poki from the people saying she's a leech, because that it clearly is the lowest priority for those searching for her. I also found it interesting to note there was no lol queries, but maybe that's just me. As someone who's been doing a lot of research, actual research boys, don't give me no shit in the comments for it, I've actually been finding it interesting that her complete transition from LoL to Fortnite has happened over such a short period of time. The third piece of evidence I have is the interactions with so-called fans. The primary piece of evidence is that 12-year-old kid. I mean, we all know he was clearly out of line, but we also have to respect the balls on that guy to say the stuff that he did. I know for a fact I wouldn't have said that sort of stuff when I was 12 years old. Some people have said, hey, that's what everyone's thinking, but I'm not sure about that, and I think that's just an assertion. We can't know for sure that this is true, but the chat spam and the search results certainly suggest that this might be the case. She's also repeatedly stated that fans are asking her out at TwitchCon, and this shows that people have ulterior motives for supporting her. People shouldn't really support a content creator hoping to get something out of it, right? The fourth and the most crucial piece of evidence against her is her Instagram account. This is where her disingenuous actions really come to the fore. I don't have a problem with the pictures, but she can't pretend ignorance of the reasons why people watch her and continue to post them. You can clearly see here that the comments are mostly sexual, and it is here that her pretensions to innocence fall apart. There is no way in hell she hasn't seen those comments and doesn't know what's going on. It would be easy to pull up mishaps and insult her, but the truth is Pokey has to be intelligent. I mean, she studied chemical engineering at college, and as such it is unlikely she is blind to the reasons people watch her, as they are so clearly evident in both the comments, her interactions with her fan, and her chat. However, there is the possibility that she hasn't admitted it to herself yet, as knowing that the majority of your audience follow you because you are attractive isn't that great for self-esteem. Her original League fans are more likely to be the genuine supporters, but the little kids from Fortnite are mainly there for a singular reason. If you are a stoic defender of her, a so-called white knight, ask yourself why you are, and be 100% honest. If you were there simply to try and get something, namely her, as most people are, then you are not a true supporter. You are only there for one reason, and that's just proving my point. If you are a fan of her personality and her content, hey, more power to you. I'm not saying that she only gets views from being quote-unquote thick, but I am arguing that this is the majority of your viewers. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't care if people do shit like this in order to get views, but if you deny being aware of why you were popular when you have full knowledge of why, that pisses me off. And that is what set this whole video into motion, when she denied it, when reacting to a couple of, I don't even remember what it was, to be honest, but I remember that she denied it, and I was like, well, hell no. Then we gotta make this video now, boys. My irrelevant ass gotta throw my 2 cents into this with this video. It's like, what's it gonna do, right? I'm not saying she's 100% confirmed a thought, but the evidence is there, and that is one conclusion that can be reached if you want to. Pokey certainly isn't the worst, and I wouldn't want her stream or YouTube shut down even if I could have it done. She hasn't broken any terms of service and has simply been disingenuous with her fans. The conclusion, well, the intention of this video was not to expose her or some stupid shit like that. It was simply to make fans aware of what I suspect the truth to be. To be fair to her, if this is all a series of coincidences, which is unlikely but not impossible, she is stuck between a rock and a hard place. She can't stand up without the clips or the spam and has tried numerous tactics to avoid this, but hey, she's only got shit on. There isn't anything she can really do to negate this. Any reasonable thing, that is. There is plenty she could do, but it starts to get a little out of hand that people should expect her to do shit like that, like black out the screen whenever she stands up. Like, no, that's ridiculous, right? I've presented you with some evidence. You are free to form your own views on it. As a person, I have no issues with her. Purely looking at her as a person, she seems nice enough, and I actually admire her business practices, as they are smart decisions. She has made a lot of smart decisions to further her brand and shit like that. I mean, she's done it through a way that may be a little dodgy to some, well, to me mainly, to everyone, right? It's dodgy what she's doing, but it is smart, and it is successful, and that is what capitalism is all about. So I support her. I do have some legitimate criticisms about her content that I considered adding to this video but decided against it. Let me know if you want me to make another video covering these, or in the unlikely event that this blows up and I need to defend myself, I will make sure I put that video out as quickly as possible, man. If enough people leave comments criticizing me, I might do a comment response. You never know. Well, guys, this has been one hell of an incoherent rant, and I'm sorry about that. But you know what it is. This is my first real video like this. Hey, cut me some slack. Try not to be too unintelligent in the comments and leave some thoughtful insights. If you disagree with me, present your argument. Don't just call me jealous or some stupid shit like that. You know, it's just a waste of all of our time, alright? So anyway, peace out, guys. This has been Brash.